Chef Vida here again. This time we are making pastry cream. Last time we made creme anglaise, which is a stirred custard without any starch. Pastry cream is very similar with the addition of cornstarch or typically cake flour in order to give it a nice thick consistency that makes it spreadable, something that we could pipe into our eclairs, something that we could use as a quick pudding or filling for cakes, a whole variety of things. Pastry cream is absolutely foundational in the bake shop. So simple, straightforward, very similar to what we just did with our creme anglaise. We're going to take our dairy and we're going to heat it with half of our sugar or a portion of our sugar. And we're going to then combine our yolks with the remainder of our sugar and cornstarch. And I'll just mix that up a little bit. Good reason for combining the sugar and the cornstarch is that it helps the cornstarch not to lump up. The sugar actually breaks up that the cornstarch a little bit. And we're going to break it up even further as we whisk it into our yolks here. Same thing as I did before. Anytime you're whisking into a stainless steel bowl, good idea to have a damp towel. And just like we did before, you see, nice and smooth, much thicker than it was before because now this has the cornstarch in it. So this will come up to temperature very quickly. We are going to temper just like we did before. Similarly, we would add our vanilla bean or any other flavoring agent into our dairy at this point, as we would have with the creme anglaise. Although you can flavor pastry cream after the fact as well. Just don't want to thin it down too much, but everything from good liqueurs, coffee extracts, just almost anything you can think of to flavor your pastry cream is acceptable. Give that just another little bit and we'll temper this in. You can see now it's starting to steam, so that's fine. With the starch in this, it's going to be a little less sensitive than it was without it for the creme anglaise. All right, so that's well combined. It's going to temper it right back in like we did before. Now we are going to cook this very quickly. So you want to make sure that you're whisking with a wire whisk. That's going to break up that cornstarch as it starts to thicken. Want to make sure that you get all the way into the edges of the pan on the bottom, making sure that nothing burns or stays in one place. Cornstarch thickens right as it comes to a boil. If you overcook it, it will become stringy and will not be very nice. So you can see even right now, it's starting to thicken up very, very quickly. You can see the lines of my whisk are running right through that and holding. So you really have to be vigorous at this point. You can smell the starch cooking just a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. It's bubbling. Just want to make sure that heat is evenly and completely distributed. And this should be perfectly smooth. Awesome, there we go. And then we'll let that, you can let it come down in temperature a little bit, but then we'll add usually our cold butter straight in here and whisk that in really well. This is what gives it richness, of course. Smoothness. If you're doing a fruit tart filled with pastry cream, that butter, when it is refrigerated, will keep it firm enough so that you can actually cut nice slices out of your fruit tart. See a beautiful color now? It's smooth, it's yellow. I'm going to add just a little bit of the rest of my vanilla to this. We always add the vanilla at the end because it's very volatile. It's largely alcohol and will evaporate. So if you were to put it in extract at the beginning, your flavor, most of it would probably evaporate by the time you finish cooking the pastry cream. And that's it. Beautiful. If it's made correctly, it really shouldn't have to be strained. And now we will take this out of here, put it into a shallow container and allow that to cool fully with plastic wrap directly on the surface of the pastry cream so it doesn't skin up. And then it's ready to use.